Hello, everyone, and welcome again to the Big Bald Book Club. If this is your first time seeing this, my name is Martin Corrigan, and this is Scott Manley-Hadley.
Yeah, and our names don't change.
No.
Even if you have seen this before, our names are the same. Consistent
throughout.
Mm-hmm.
But it may be pretty easy not to tell us apart because we're both wearing glasses.
I got. You can see a little bit of my chest hair. Behind the microphone.
I didn't want to mention that we're bald.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
Not here though, you know.
Oh yeah, true.
All grown up, baby. All grown up.
Anyway, the Big Bald Book Club is somewhere where I wanted to read more, and Scott is a very learned individual, understands a lot of the subtext in books, and I like pictures more than words. So today we have picked the book. Well, we picked it quite a while ago, but today we're going to discuss Ernest Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea. Sounds like a long and incredibly intricate book because it's Hemingway. It's only 100 pages long.
I mean, and it's pretty big font. It's basically a long short story. It's not even really a novella, is it? It's tight. But
yes.
I mean, you mentioned there that I understand subtext and you understand pictures.
Yes.
I'd say this is a very good example of that, right? Because it's all pictures and it's all subtext, not literal pictures, but it's the way Hemingway writes is there's no adverbs, there's not many adjectives. It's
as if there was a spectrum of words to use. Hemingway is clean cut, tells you what's happening, very easy to follow story. It goes from A, B, C, D, E.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of that scale would be Emily Bronte, who discovered a thesaurus.
You were traumatized by Wuthering Heights. I think it's really impacted you in a very scary way.
Yeah, not in a good way. Well, it shouldn't.
You're haunted by it, like Heathcliff by Cathy, man.
That's it. I've got Kate Bush, It's very good. He's very direct in his writing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that worked because when this was first released as a novella, it was actually released into a magazine. I know we were discussing that earlier, but they don't know.
That was off camera.
Wasn't it? We have lives outside of this. But it was released in a magazine. And I think that's fascinating that books like this, including Fahrenheit 451, Fahrenheit 451, spoilers, was released. Its first release was in Playboy. We'll probably read that book and do a thing on it because it's a brilliant book too.
Mm-hmm.
But this was great. Do you want to quickly go over the story?
The story is it's called The Old Man and the Sea. In my opinion, it should be called The Old Man and the Fish because it's not. He's not battling the sea. He's battling a particular fish. So an old man lives. He's a fisherman in Havana. He hasn't caught any fish for 84 days, 85 days. It doesn't really matter exactly how many days. 84 days, hasn't caught any fish. His assistant fisherman's parents, he's got a young boy apprentice. The apprentice's parents have said, "Mate, you guys catching no fish. You gotta go and be an apprentice fisherman with someone else." But this kid really likes the old man, so whenever he's on land, this kid is around trying to help him out because he feels sad and he likes the old guy. The old guy's wife is dead, doesn't have any kids of his own, doesn't have any pets. It's not really relevant. But the guy goes out on his own, the old man, into the sea, into the Gulf Stream on this 85th day. Hooks a massive fish, one of the biggest fish he's ever hooked in his life. But he's on his own. He battles this fish for a couple of days. Eventually, he wins. The fish is dead. He ties the fish up to the side of the boat, starts sailing back, and sharks just come and eat the whole fish. And so he arrives back with a fish skeleton and just a really broken old man. And that's the whole story.
That's the whole story. Yeah.
But it's not just the whole story, right? I mean, because that sounds boring, but it's not boring. It's beautiful.
It's really good. I wasn't expecting a lot.
You don't like old men or seas?
No, but it's not that there. It was I think whenever we were speaking about this before, you had framed it as this is when Hemingway was going into a very rough period in his life, suffering from alcoholism, moved to Cuba to write this. Or maybe he wrote it whilst he was there.
He spent a lot of time in Cuba, the last 10, 20 years of his life.
I think, did he not did F. Scott Fitzgerald not hang out with him as well?
Yeah, back in Paris in the 20s.
Yeah, the author, and like Hemingway steered him down the wrong path in his life. He influenced him heavily, and then Scott
Hemingway
Fitzgerald.
fucked over a lot of people. You know, so basically he was like this young upshot, hip happening new writer in Paris in 1920s, one of like the expat American kids hanging out. And a lot of people really liked Hemingway, really championed his work, like Gertrude Stein in particular, and there were a few other people. Sherwood Anderson was another one who really championed Hemingway. And then what Hemingway did was just took the piss out of all of these older writers that had liked him very, very publicly and quite aggressively. And so they all got really upset and offended, understandably so. And he became this superstar, basically, this international superstar novelist, the kind that you don't really have anymore. And he really fucked people over right at the start of his career. And then he just kept on kind of doing that. You know, like he'd run from marriage to marriage. You know, he was briefly married to a really successful journalist called Martha Gellhorn, who he treated like he treated all his wives very badly. He wasn't a nice guy. He was also a very unhappy guy in the end. He did take his own life at the end of his life. He won the Nobel Prize in Literature, which is a big deal. I mean, it used to be a big deal. I mean, I think now anyone can win that.
Was it Nobel, or did he win Pulitzer as well?
He would have won Pulitzers. He won them all. Like, he was a super acclaimed writer. He wrote some very famous novels, some very famous novellas, some really great stuff. He had cocktails named after him. You know, he was spent a lot of time hunting big game in Africa, a lot of time hunting big fish in the Caribbean. He was like, and worked in the Italian ambulance service during the First World War. He got the Cuban Navy to sign his personal fishing boat off as a naval vessel during the Second World War, and they let him just drop grenades ostensibly on Russian submarines. Not Russian, wouldn't have been Russian in the Second World War, would it? They were on the same side. He was just someone who was big and famous and played around with a lot of different ways. And his writing through all of that, it maintained this kind of clearness, this real sort of terseness, like just shaving off all the edges. And so he's someone whose style a lot of people have tried to copy, but it doesn't always work, and it often feels like someone's being quite patronizing. But what he manages to do, like with the artfulness of his writing, is that he strips it down, but it's always really clear what he's actually saying. So the subtext is king here. What's implied, what's meant is really prevalent, even when it's never said. Like, he doesn't say, this is how you should feel. This is how the man feels as he did this. He doesn't say that. It's just, you see what happened and you know what he's saying. He's
laying out evidence. It's like, this is what happened. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And he's telling you, he's not showing you, or he's showing you and telling you. But he's not patronizing. He's not telling stories. He's describing a this.
Would you consider Emily Bronte patronizing, the way she described a man putting his fingers into his pocket with a jealous...
But she's being funny. She's playing with language. But it's just the opposite, right? So what she's doing is she's saying... she's using language to express exactly what she wants the reader to imagine. And someone like Hemingway is showing you... And it's hard. People like that. This is why he's sort of as famous as he is, because other people can't really do it. He's using as few words as possible to get that same effect. So he's making you picture in your head and in your heart and your soul, right? Mm-hmm. He's getting you to have the same thing that he wants, but with a tiny bit of language.
So I think the reason I liked it, and the reason why the writing related to me especially, is we're both open mic stand-up comedians. And we were always taught at the very beginning to have an economy of words. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have anything that's on the joke. Like the joke should be a lean piece or a lean cut of steak. There should be no fat on it, no unnecessary bits that you're not going to eat. What's there should only improve the look of the joke, or the feeling of it, or the punchline. I think the exact same thing with his writing. Mm-hmm. And it's either one, he meant it.
Oh, he knew what he was doing.
Or two, he was so drunk that he couldn't think of the adjectives. Do you know, he's just so loaded up on Cuban rum and cigars and just going like, nah, that's chapter 1 done. Man gets into boat.
Something I read once that Hemingway did was every time he wrote a book, whether it was like one of his longer ones, which even his longest ones were only about 300 pages, every day when he worked on that novel, he'd start at the beginning and work through, like editing as he went through, and then when he gets to the end, he carries on writing from there. And most people don't write like that, and there's a reason for it. It's a weird way to do it, right? But that means that the first sentence of this, he will have looked at on his manuscript pile 1,000 times.
Yeah, but it's because he's drunk and he couldn't remember the story that he wrote. Anyway, we're going to be back quickly just after these messages.
Hi, I'm Sam Rhodes, one of the co-founders of LAFS, the London Arts Facilitation Society. If you're enjoying watching or listening to any of this content, we'd really like you to donate a little bit of cash to help us build access to all of this wonderful stuff for working class people from all over England. You can go to lafs.org.uk to donate as little as £1 a month to help us keep the lights on and help us make lovely art, podcasts, comedy specials and even professional wrestling for you at home. lafs.org.uk. Donate today. Go on, do it for the laughs.
Always lovely to see those adverts. Tell us what you think about the adverts in the comments. But not about anything else, just the adverts.
Yeah, not about our opinions, about literature.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to Old Man and the Sea. Yeah, brilliant book. Do you know what, one thing it reminded me of is, and you were saying earlier, where Hemingway uses as little as possible to paint the picture of what's going on. As I was reading this, yeah, it's theatre of the mind. You really like have to work at like what the character looks like, what they're doing, what the boat looks like, and you know the kids and the stars in the sky, the cool calm water, and where he is in the world, and towards the end of it, the Mako shark and get back on the shore. It reminded me of like this just reminds me, or like makes me think, an alien has just arrived to Earth, and he's just locked on to one individual. And he's following the story of this guy throughout the whole thing. It's like, holy shit, this guy's been out here for 3 days wrestling a fish. Like, these guys don't give up. But it reminded me of do you know the music video for When I Come Around by Green Day?
I do not know that music video.
Everybody sort of like turned and looked, and they would see somebody off in the distance doing something, and then you would focus on them for 10, 20 seconds. Then they would see someone else, and then it would focus on them. This to me feels like, I think this was meant to be part of his, like, there was a trilogy he was going to write about the sea and the water, and it felt like me that as soon as Santiago comes back onto the shore with the fish and he's exhausted, and Manolin comes back down and discovers him. And
that's his apprentice.
That's his apprentice, yeah. Who as you mentioned, he discouraged, like, find somebody else to do this here, because it's not really good that you're being an apprentice to a guy who can't catch fish. It's like being an apprentice to an electrician who gets electrocuted. It's not good.
It's part of learning, though, isn't it? Right? Like,
don't do this.
Like riding a bike, you got to fall off to learn how to do it.
I don't know, when sharks are involved, it's a bit dangerous. But so the things like, I half expected that if there was another book written after this to follow this in the magazine that it was printed in, I would expect it would be like one of the American tourists who were looking down at him going like, oh my God, look at that.
At the end, there's this weird bit where, some American tourists are looking at the boat with this giant skeleton next to it.
And the guy who's working on the beach selling the rum or whatever, is like Tiberion, shark. Tiburon. Is that what shark is? Mm-hmm. He was saying that. And he goes, then it says in Spanglish, he goes, shark. And I was just like, the Americans are just going, oh my God, this is crazy. The shark ate that fish. And I was like, but it's very strange that we're 90 pages in with Santiago struggling against this fish adversarially, and then as soon as he captures him, straps him to the side of the boat, he becomes his friend, and he's trying, I'll get you back to you. You were a good...
But there's a lot of that kind of... almost spiritualized hunter and hunted animal being combined. Like, he respects the fish. He still wants to kill it, but he respects it. He loves it, I think he says at one point.
Oh yeah.
And like while he's doing it, he's like thinking about things from his life in the past. That's something I think is really interesting about it, is what he chooses to remember from his life. And it's not like his marriage. It's not friends that he's had. The things that he focuses on, that he remembers in this desperate moment near the end of his life, is an arm wrestling competition
with a fish.
And it's a seeing lions in the wild are the things that he keeps thinking about while he's there.
There was a line in this here. He's just like, as you were saying, it's like, I respect you. It's like, you know, you fought well. It's like, but now I must kill you. Mm-hmm. And it was crazy. But it's one of the lovely things about it was that, like, there's not much going on in these guys' lives, right?
But this guy's travelled the world, right? Like, he's gone back and forth across the Atlantic.
What I mean to say is that I'd say in any situation you'd probably compare yourself to other people and go like, God, what would the famous one? What would Jesus do in this situation? Or like, you know, oh, Jesus, what would my mum or dad do? Like, you know, how would Arnie Schwarzenegger handle this?
The fish thing in particular.
But he keeps going like, you know,
what would Joe DiMaggio do? What would Joe DiMaggio do? Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, like, oh, what would Joe think of me now if he see me just like, you know, lying down in a boat with a fishing line in my hands? And by the way, he's fishing with his hands. Like, this line is, I don't know if it's
digging
like,
in and it across his back at some point.
Yeah, I imagine it's like not like a twine line.
It's not going to be nice.
It's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be like a nylon line.
But it's like it's a physical thing that he's got with this fish, right? Yeah. They can feel each other either end of this line.
He can sense what he's doing by how much line he's pulling, if he's slowing down, if he's circling, if he's going.
And he's very good at fishing. I mean, hasn't been lucky with catching him, but once they're on the line, he knows what he's doing. He's a competent old man.
It's like 80 years of experience. I'm actually, pardon me, but I'm going to actually get the line because I know I have it noted in my Kindle what it is. So I apologise for breaking my phone out here, but it is bothering me, and I do want to get it.
I mean, I can fill if you want while you're doing that.
No, I can still talk back.
Great, amazing.
What do you think of the reaction of like?
I think I'd say, what do you think about Iran? Was what I thought you were about to say. This is not a politics.
I thought you were going to say what do I think about erections. What do you think about like the reaction of Madeline being told that like you're not coming out to sea with me? Because I have an interesting thought on that as well.
I mean, I think narratively, it's all about building up to this one man, one fish, only one leaves kind of Thunderdome of the ocean. But it's also the guy knows that he's not good, right? He knows he's unlucky. Yes. He knows he's near the end of his life, and he doesn't want to drag this young lad down with him because he likes him and respects him and enjoys him. He doesn't want the best for himself would be to have the young lad around because he only pays the young lad when he gets fish. Mm-hmm. You know, which is that's quite poor ethics as an employer. I think you should pay your employees regardless of how well your business is doing. But that's
true.
I'm not an employer.
I think it's on the boy. It's like I think his family has also said like we have to look after our elders. Pay real big attention to this man. He's got a lot of life experience you could learn from, but also we look after our own. I think that's what it was. The quote that I was trying to get to said, "Fish," he said, "I love you and respect you very much, but I will kill you dead before the day ends." And I was just like, Jesus Christ, lad. And then there was another bit where he said like, "Bad move, fish." I think I laughed at that part. It was hilarious.
Yeah. There's a couple of things that it happened that Hemingway does a few times. Is he just sort of says as an aside, by the way, he was talking in Spanish. Like he does that about 2 or 3 times, which is weird.
The other thing was like I like on our reading journey, I'm trying to like look at like, oh, what's the message behind this here? And is it just the drunken ramblings of a guy who's at a pub in Cuba, just writing a story about a man and a fish that he probably seen somebody like pulling one of those wooden boats up, and the guy's like 80, and he's probably seen it. Goes like, oh God, what if he tried to do the Moby Dick and bring in a whale, because that's what it echoed.
It's
to
kind
me.
of a bit like, yeah.
I don't know if what order they were written in, but it kind of like, oh, this guy's ready to die strapped to this fish or whale, whether it brings him down, if it's his ruin or if it's the fish's ruin. It struck well. But what is like, yeah, this was another day this guy was going out to work, but the whole bit where he was saying to Manolin, the kid, be like, no, you can't come today. I've been incredibly lucky. Go with somebody who'll catch a fish. I'm just going to go out and see what I can get.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded to me like he was that penguin marching off to the mountain, and that he was ready to I'm just ready to die.
Maybe sometime. Yeah,
I maybe sometime. I'm going. And like he was out there, I think, for like 4 or 5 days. Little water, little food, salted beef. He had caught some fish to be able to kill
then
and
just ate
eat.
that.
Sushi, yeah, absolutely. It is lovely, but it felt to me like he was going out. He had not lost the will, but he was ready to go. He was ready to die. And then as soon as he hooked this fish, it was like that thought got overridden by, I wouldn't say the will to stay alive or the will to live, but the will to like fight.
Yeah. Oh, and to be the fisherman that he
Yeah,
sees himself as, right?
that he sees himself as, but that he has also said to the boy, and like the boy hasn't really seen it. Like he's maybe caught a couple of salmon, but like if this like 80-year-old man, I think he was like 70 or 80, brings in this like huge marlin. It's a marlin, isn't it?
Yeah.
He brings in this huge marlin, one of the biggest fish in the world. He'll go like, the kid'll believe in me. The kid'll know that I am a great fisherman.
And everyone does know, even though by the time he gets back, the fish has been destroyed by sharks. Everyone is still, fucking hell, man, you caught that.
It's like the length of the boat.
Yeah, longer than the boat. Longer than the boat. Yeah.
So,
and he finds this pride in himself, right? He is the old man, and the sea is his demon that he's defeated, in a way. He knows the sea. He understands the sea.
yeah.
He's kind of tamed nature.
Seems to me that he was more full of life on the sea than he was on land, because anything he did on land, it was like, I go back to my hut.
Yeah.
I go to sleep.
But that's because he's nearing the end of his life, right? He's in that kind of stasis, that staticness towards the end. Like his wife has died, you know. He's just got this boy he sees a few days a week to hang out with. I don't think there's a subplot there. I mean, who knows?
Hemingway was at that type of stuff.
Well, there's rumours. There's always rumours about these guys.
Final remarks though on Old Man in the Sea.
I mean, I really like it. I mean, I think, as I said, Hemingway, bit of a dick, but I think what that guy could do with a typewriter, few people could better, you know?
Yeah, and it streaks to like people who do maybe abuse substances. You've got Jimi Hendrix, Hemingway, and it's like there's just like Kurt Cobain. There's a wee bit of wildness there, but it produces some beautiful things.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was fantastic.
But yeah, I mean, there's that kind of tortured genius, right? Is that kind of inverted comma thing that people say, right? And he was that. You know, he was that kind of person who lived very hard, made some beautiful art, and kind of fell apart at the end of his life, right? And it's he would have thought of himself as an old man. He was 53 when he wrote this, and this was in the, 53 isn't that old. You know, that doesn't feel very far away from where I am.
Maybe the metaphor of the book is that this is Hemingway going out into the ocean to land one more massive novel, and it turned out to be just a wee 100-pager.
But it's
magazine.
great. You know, it's perfect. You know, tiny, perfectly formed, beautiful.
Yeah, no, fantastic. And speaking of tortured geniuses, us tortured geniuses are going to have a break, and we'll see you at the next one.
Do you want to do any promo? Oh, where can you find Martin on social media?
You can find me on Instagram and everywhere at Marty Dozer. So at Marty Dozer, I'll spell it out in the clip. But Instagram, YouTube, anywhere like that. TikTok.
Nice. And I'm Scott Manley Hadley at Scott Manley Hadley everywhere. I've got a blog, triumphofthenow.com, where I talk about literature. And I've got a show, Bold Personality Disorder, that's on at a few festivals this summer. It's summer 2026. I mean, if you're watching this in 20 years' time, it's not that summer. It's 2026. I don't imagine I'll still be. If there's demand for it, sure, I'll keep doing it for 20 years. But there isn't really demand for one summer, so that's probably it's good. Come see it. Make that demand. Make that demand.
Right. We'll see you again soon.
It's the Big Bald Book Club. We're gonna read some about books and that.